Okay, so good morning everyone, or good noon maybe. So I decided to create this some sort of tutorial on jQuery. Okay, jQuery is supposed to be our last topic on the last part or class in December, but wala ta ka klase kay na sakit pud gamay. So anyway, I decided nga magbuhat ko ani nga guide or tutorial para kuan sa inyo, para itudlo sa inyo ba unsa ang jQuery. So anyway, so to give you an idea what jQuery is, let's just head first to this website. Okay, so jQuery is a fast and small feature-rich JavaScript library. So it's a JavaScript library. What it actually does is DOM manipulation, event handling, animation, and Ajax. So it contains a very easy to use APIs and or let's say methods that we can actually use to make our code a little bit let's say shorter and faster. Okay, so anyway, jQuery's koan, I think tagline is really write less, do more. So meaning to say, in a very short number line of codes, we can actually do a lot of things compared to really writing native JavaScript code. Okay, so dili na ako nilugayon. I will just introduce to you jQuery. So jQuery is hosted in this site, and if you want to know more about jQuery, you can actually go to this site and read about jQuery. So jQuery is hosted on this GitHub account, and you can find its source code here if you want to know about jQuery. And then to use jQuery, we need to download the jQuery JavaScript file. So here, you'll find that the latest jQuery version is version 3.2.1. Okay, so you can download jQuery here, or you can also use the Google CDN if you want. So we will go to Google CDN to see for jQuery. Okay, so here. So anyway, so if you'll download this one, you'll get a file. So you have two options. Either you download the compressed one or the uncompressed, meaning the minified and the non-minified version. So if you'll download the uncompressed version, so you'll have this file, and then when you want to check it out, this is what is inside. And then if you want to download the compressed version, which is what we're going to use, you'll see this thing here, or this set of code here, so which is quite compressed or minified. So to choose from either minified or this, it's just a matter of performance. So minified version are quite faster and smaller in terms of size of the file since it's compressed, whereas here we have many white spaces, so it really contains a much more let's say size in terms of the file size of the JavaScript file. So I have already downloaded this file. So there are two ways to use jQuery. You can even also use it here. You can find it in the Google CDN. Okay, this was not it. Let's just go back. Uh, so we'll find it here. So there. So you can also find it here, jQuery. So you can copy this line of code to get an online jQuery file which is hosted at this um, let's say URL. But for us, we will host our jQuery offline, so we downloaded the file. So that's an option. But when we want to deploy, again, if you want to deploy a website online, so it's best to use this instead of downloading offline the jQuery. Okay, so without much further ado, let's use jQuery. So again, I have downloaded jQuery. So I have put it in this file. So notice that we have three files here. We have index.html, the jQuery file, and the script or script later. So we'll see it here. So this is what's inside our HTML. Simple lang nga demo, no. The idea is to show you the difference between using JavaScript and using jQuery, so that you will have a clear idea why do we need to use jQuery. So first things first, to set up everything, I need this to file. So if we run this, we will get this code here, or HTML file here. So then, to link our JavaScript file, we need to do it externally. So we use this script tag, and then the source is jQuery.min.js. Okay, so we also have this. So the script.js, which is contains this code here. So I have done something already, so I will just remove this and retype this again later. And we also have here our jQuery. Okay, before anything else, ako lang sa nakoy i-demo lang sa. So let me just remove this one first, comment it out. Kusang iwala. Then show you our console here. So let's see the window object first to fully understand how jQuery works. So okay, let me reload first. So type window. So notice that we already have this. This is supposed to be reload. Okay, wait. Let me just comment this one too also, and do a hard reload. Oh, yeah. So we'll have this file here. Then see. So this is what's inside first on the default window. So muna yung sulod, I have told you already this one. This is the global object in JavaScript. So without jQuery, it's just normal. But let's check if we have used jQuery. Let's comment this out. Yan lang. Then reload. Let's check now the window. Okay. Notice that in this time, the window object was attached with this dollar sign or dollar symbol function. So it's a function, guys. This was created by that jQuery file, and as well as this one. So these are objects or functions that is attached to the global object once we make use of jQuery. Okay, so that is why we can actually make use of this. So let's try and use this function. So since these are functions, let's see. So let's put it right there. So this is the function definition of the dollar symbol, and as well as the jQuery. So basically they are the same. This one is just the shortcut or the shorter way of writing or typing jQuery. Somehow this is the conventional way of doing it because it's way shorter, easy to remember, easy to type. So again, it's a function. Notice it's a function. So let's see, if it's a function, then we will call it like that. So this one is what it returns. It actually gives us this object, an r.fn that initialize object. So this is the jQuery object that we are trying to get out from this function. So what this functions really does is simple. No? Once we call it, then it will give us this object. And with that, we can then use jQuery. So this is how jQuery works, no? So the time na ato siyang i-link ang jQuery file, magbuhat din siya ani nga function wherein we can then actually make use of. So more likely, there is a jQuery, it's just more into functions and objects. So I think it's already clear sa inyo, o klaro na ba po sa inyo ang functions and objects. So I hope. So yeah, so now let's make use of the code, no? And compare what's the difference between using JavaScript and jQuery. Okay, so again, there are three things that we're going to talk, by the way, for the jQuery. So we will talk about DOM manipulation, animation, and event handling. So okay, so I have created already the file. We have this script.js. So here I have demonstrated, or I have written a code wherein um, I created a native JavaScript, the typical one, which is, I think you know this already. Um, so document.getElement way. So this is JavaScript, And if I'll remove just this for a while so that you will have an idea, what it just does is simply manipulate the DOM by changing the background of this div and then changing the color. So that's that. So that's JavaScript, okay? So now, so kung nasa JavaScript, basically we can do it also in jQuery because it's on top of JavaScript. It's a library for JavaScript. So we do DOM manipulation here. Okay. So yeah, that's JavaScript. Now let me explain to you in jQuery. So jQuery guys, in jQuery we need to open our script like this. So let me do it again. To do it, we need this code here. This is really quick, like let's say a wrapper of all our JavaScript scripts here. So all of our script, no, our jQuery scripts are wrapped up inside this one. Okay, are wrapped up here inside this function. So this is just a wrapper. Remember that the concept on IIFE. So IIFE or immediately invoke function looks the same like this, but um, notice that it invokes like this. It's a function expression, so it's just the same. What it does actually is simply wrapped up all the code inside. So yeah lang, no? Excuse me. So this is also a safety mechanism for jQuery to really check that uh marabag i-check na daan kung ready na ba ang kanin na aba ni siyang dollar, and if it's there, then we'll call it right away and then give it an anonymous function, and everything is inside here will be run, no, will be run here kaning tanan diri sa sulod. Okay, so by the way, um let's just talk about first the jQuery syntax. So jQuery guys utilizes, again, it's just a function, no? It uses this dollar sign, dollar as the name of the function, and then we can give it whatever we want. So uh, not really we whatever pero kini nga mga specified, no, so we can give it a function, no, this function we can give it an anonymous function and then it will do its magic, no. And then but most likely what you will play with jQuery is the utilization of the CSS selectors, no, and methods. So the jQuery syntax just looks like this. So we can use the dollar sign, open and close parenthesis, or a function call. Then we give it a CSS selector. So CSS selectors are the following, no? So CSS selector are ID, classes, katong HTML element, pseudo classes. So here, an example of ID is that, no? So ID, wherein we can use the pound sign or the number sign, and then we can also use the class, which is we use a dot, and then we can give it also HTML element or pseudo classes like this, no? We can say div that first of type or something like ingana, no? Or span uh, and child something na ingana, no? So we can also make use of pseudo classes by hierarchy guys. The most fastest way of utilizing jQuery or para makita diretso ang element nga gusto nimo i-manipulate or DOM manipulation is using ID. Muna fastest, no? Okay, direct to the point, since we jQuery is also utilizing this mechanism, the get by element by ID. And then you have class and then the div. So ayan, so pero it calls for whatever need that you need, no, murabag the need that you need, meaning unsa ba ang imong kinahanglan karon, you can use ID, you can use class, so whatever you like, no, pwede ra gid na imo ihatag sa iya. So muna ito ipang butang dire. Then we can use the dot notation or dot operator to call on the methods. Remember ganiha, pag call nato sa sorry, pag call nato sa dollar, we are given an object. So since it returns an object, that's why we can actually make use of this. So this is a function, returns an object, then this is the first evaluated by the parser, JavaScript parser. And then since it's returned an object, it's valid to really call on methods for that object that is returned by this function. So muna siya, methods, then we can give it a parameter. So an example of that is I have written a code here below. So Um, so we have manipulated this one. So we will try to manipulate this one, this DOM, using jQuery. So first, open lang taog. Again, same, no? So my target is this. So the div. So since ID ang akong gigamit, we can actually make use of this. So, ana, okay? So then we can give it a property. In our case, we call on this method the CSS method. Now, with regards to method, let me just show you the site again. If you want to get to know on the methods that is available for jQuery, you can go here in the API documentation. No, so this API documentation here contains all of the methods that we can actually use on jQuery. So one of that is the CSS. So notice that this is the description. No, muna siya, no, we just call on the CSS, and then when you click that, you can actually see some example codes here. No, so notice, and then so yan na lang. So for me, I use that. Then what actually CSS here does is just to manipulate the properties of the HTML element. So muna iyahang capability. So what we try to do here is actually just change the background color and the font color. So let's save it, reload our file here. Then you'll see it also manipulates the DOM. So this is DOM manipulation, which is we did that a while ago. We did it with JavaScript, and you notice that the significance of the difference of the two. Since here we really write a lot of code here, and then we just write a small footprint of code. So it's quite simple to say that jQuery is, in terms of the number line of code, it's really way shorter. And somehow, guys, it's easy to remember because instead of writing this and then memorizing all the properties of this method here, we can just simply call it like this and then just call on the methods. Simple, no? So that is uh, jQuery. So we can actually we can just manipulate everything there, no? So we can even do it like this. So we can hmm, or let me show you another one. So this is using the HTML element. So we can actually use this, and then excuse me. This is HTML. So we can actually add HTML. Yeah. So here we have call on the div. So meaning to say we're accessing all of these two divs since we are just calling the div. We're not specifying what ID. Then we're giving it this HTML method. So yan. So I don't really I don't actually expect nga kabalo na mo unsa niya, pero just follow through anyway. Masabtan na ninyo. So this is again another method, the same with CSS. And if you want documentation, you just go to the API docs sa jQuery. And then what it does is actually attach or put something inside here, the inner HTML. Okay, here it will put something inside here. It will replace whatever is inside here. So it's the same as the inner HTML in document or DOM in JavaScript. So we can actually copy and paste it here. Then you can say inner HTML. So we can do this here. For example, like that. So let me just comment that out. Then we will reload. Notice this is what it does. And it's that, no? Sa jQuery, we can actually target two div at the same time. Here, we can just target one element at a time. But now, notice this. We were able to add two buttons right then and there at the same div element. Here, uh, we can use the get element by tag name, but again, same. It will just work on one tag at a time. So here, simply say div, and then it will get all the div. So, ano lang, no? Simple as that. Diba? So that is the DOM capability or DOM manipulation capability of jQuery. So let me just remove this one. Enough examples. So I think you have the idea now on the difference. So there's not much difference in terms of functionality because what jQuery can do, you can do it also in JavaScript. It's just a matter of preference, no? So if you like doing things like the JavaScript way, it's not wrong at all. But if you want to really make a probably a much better, faster way of coding JavaScript, then jQuery can actually help also. So let me just remove this one. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So the next thing I'll do is I'm going to show you. Let me remove this one. I'm going to show you a simple, let's say, animation. Okay. So, oh no, sorry. Una lang sa event handling. Okay. So in event handling, guys, if you still remember, we have different events for each DOM. No, we can do on click, on blur, or something like that. In jQuery, we can simply target. Let's say target na po na to tong div1. Oops. Yeah. Then we can simply target that using that. Using this, we can target this. Yeah. So simply call on the click method and give it an anonymous function. So this is a click method wherein it listens to whatever events that is related to click. So since if this is click daw, kaninga div ko i-click daw ni siya, so it will trigger this function and it will do something. So in our case, let's just do something like this. Okay, let me change na lang, not the div, no. Let's change this into a button. Okay, click me. And then let's call this my button. Then let's change this into my button. So kung unsa nga element atong i-target, guys, so mo na atong ibutangan, no? So mo na atong ibutang. So example atong target kay kaniman nga button. So we will attach this method to this button, and then what we'll do is ato pong i-target ang div and change it. It's probably just a color, no? So let's say change this to green and then a color of let's say yellow. So something like that. So let's see how it works. Reload na to. So this is what our code now. So if we just click this, notice that it changes, no? So what it simply does is um kanang it listens to an event, no? Reload. Yan, it listens to our event, the click event. So di mo ni siya yung purpose anang click. So if you want to write that on JavaScript, so we can say document.get element by id dot on click. So we can actually do that there. But here you can just simply call on the target element, asan mo i-attach ang event, then you attach the event, and then you can give it a function inside, then to trigger something. No, you can trigger inside here. So yan. So it's a function. You can also call on a function inside here. So that's how good jQuery is. Another example is, so that's it for event handling. You can do a lot of events here. You just need to explore, no? So anyway, this is just an overview. So we will talk about jQuery once we are back at school. So karon lang hatag lang ko ani daan para makita ninyo. Okay, so let me just show you animation, no? So we will create an animation wherein what we'll do is let's just create new buttons here. So button 2 and 3 and just say show me or and hide me. So we will target this div and then we will try to hide and show that div. So using jQuery. So yeah, so we will target, yeah, so we will still add a show event here and then we will say that show. So or to really trigger animation, let's just say fade in let's say 3 seconds. Okay, and then I'll do the same with the other button, which is 3, and then I'll say fade out in just 3 seconds the same. So here we have created two buttons, and then we attach to that button, and then we apply an animation to our div to an yeah, the same div. We will try to apply an animation. So let me just show it to you. So let me click this, hide me. In 3 seconds, it will disappear. And look at that, there's an animation that actually happened. So we can also use show me. Yeah. And in 3 seconds, in 3 seconds it appears. So that is the capability of jQuery. So again, the same thing. These are just methods that we can actually call. So for further references, you can actually go here and see for yourselves what are the different things that you can do with jQuery. So yeah, so this is jQuery. So again, this is just an overview, and I hope you have learned something with jQuery. So I have also sent the link on the Facebook group about a good site for jQuery. Though it's just really old. It's really old, no? Okay, 2011, but no, I forgot to tell you. Um, but the new Boston tutorial is really quite good. And I think it still works on pod. Whatever their code here, it still works. So ang ako lang is you must also be say let's have a common sense also of seeing if that code is deprecated or not. So they have deprecated list here. So for example, if you're using on the version 3, these are the deprecated code. So deprecated means probably they just don't add it anymore. So they try to remove it, no? So try to deprecate the code. So something like that, no? So here you can actually find several tutorials about the different methods, actually one by one. So if you want to learn about the fade in and fade out, the one I did already, so you can actually do it, no? You can even also do delay or something like that, no? Clone and etc. So yeah, that's it for jQuery. So I hope you learned something or na may nakuhaan ka ron. So you just need to discover jQuery further. So if you want to know more about jQuery, then I really urge everyone to really study jQuery if you want, because this is quite a tool for you to actually make use in web development. So we will have a discussion on this once we return in class, but I guess I want you to study it in advance. So yeah, that's it. If you have questions, just chat me on Facebook, and that's it, guys. Thank you for listening.